So this is just a brief update to explain what's going on, because I require witnesses to the act of genocide that is being orchestrated against me to end my life. So it's early in the morning on November the 3rd, 2022, and I will read you a notification that I dropped off at my stolen property, so we can all see what the trespassers are going to be receiving. Attention trespassers utilizing stolen in trust private property due to unforeseen circumstances. I was unable, November 1st, 2022, to pick up rents due and payable. You were still on my property after being asked politely, under my supervision, to peacefully vacate last weekend. I'm a woman with an INFJ personality, the rarest type. As such, am capable of placing myself in your shoes, and know you have been blindsided by evildoers Benjamin Howe and Sandra Dennis. These persons have known since November 2021. They are in possession of my stolen security. I realize it was unfair not to provide proof. Type the blue addresses into a search engine, hit enter to find my valid lawful claim, which requires you to vacate as soon as possible. I know you haven't been on my property long, as former trespassers are gone for same reason. They did not want to face criminal charges or claim for civil damages, which is why you are new persons on my stolen property due to the greed, blatant disrespect, and fraud. Well, we know their names, don't we? Upon opening this link, there are blue links to open and read for understanding of how my property was stolen by application and title fraud and those responsible. So then, if you've gone into the description boxes, these documents that I've written are there. As a victim of Benjamin Howe, Sandra Dennis, and other evildoers, I am in process of building criminal and civil cases. I would like to provide sound counsel to those trespassing. You must file civil claim for damages in BC Small Claims Court for maximum allowed $35,000 per person, as your so-called landlords have knowingly, willingly caused you loss, harm, and injury. I will help you and attend your hearing so you may receive appropriate compensation rightfully deserved. You are victims of these liars and their lies, just like I am. Please know we are not enemies. I know you are in shock. That is why I am taking time to write, to reassure. I do very much understand and am sympathetic. Nonetheless, you must relocate as soon as possible, and this is to no fault of your own. Isn't that correct, evildoers Benjamin and Sandra? Truthfully, I am the nicest woman you will meet, which is why I am providing information to have this process be peaceful and cooperative as possible for my sake and yours, as I have been completely traumatized by having the property my family has owned since 2003 stolen along with my entire inheritance, leaving me, purposely, homeless and destitute since March 2020. You now have proof required to understand. If you have heard slanderous statements about me, they are all lies spoken by liars. I couldn't make up what has been done to me if I tried. I would never tell you this is my property if it was not my home. Trespassers are using my security, and I, as owner, have legal and lawful right to immediate possession. To provide time to digest the information, I will be back November the 3rd before 8 p.m. to pick up rent. If you have paid the criminals in unlawful possession of my stolen property, Benjamin Howe and Sandra Dennis, be aware I will be attending their address on Faircliff Lane to take my necessaries of life from you, as is my duty, obligation, and responsibility. You evildoers face me one way or another, so get a grip and stop being liars. You are not above the law and never will be. You are destroying yourselves. Now it's too late and I'm far too exhausted to go into why yesterday I became literally physically incapacitated late in the afternoon, which is why I couldn't go to my property to pick up the rents that were due and payable. Now I'm going to go into what happened. There was a satanic ritual taking place, and I was the sacrifice. But now it's not the time to go into that. So now we're going to go and we're going to look and see. What happened this afternoon? So I'm back. It's the 2nd of November, 2022. And I have to collect proof. Collect proof of satanic ritual abuse. Collect proof that public servants in the district of Saanich have no honor and they have no value. So I'm back sitting outside on the street that I've owned a home on for 20 years. So this is not going to be a live, because what we're doing is I'm taking witnesses with me, aren't I, right? So the live posts on Instagram are for the purpose of witnesses, because physically I'm by myself. But this is the age of social media, where everybody's business is everybody's business. So my business is your business, and your business is my business, right? So I have a couple of letters here. One for the upstairs trespasser and one for the downstairs trespasser. So I'm going to attach these because it looks like the evildoers, Sandra Dennis and Benjamin Howe, have been counseled that they can continue to commit indictable crime against me and cause me significant civil damages. So they are involving themselves in, well, the act of conspiracy to commit genocide, right? Because how is it that they've known for a year that this is not their property? Their title and their mortgage is both, based on fraud, right? Do you not go into CBC Marketplace on YouTube and watch the truth about bankers? That they're compulsive liars, that they constantly drop fraudulent documents? Because that's what's happening. So here we are, once again. Right now, I have not provided these trespassers with proof, which is why I'm here tonight. And I'm going to explain later, when I record what happened last night and why I was physically incapacitated, why I couldn't move. So let's take a look. Okay. So that right there is the living room to my home. That's a living room to my home. It's being trespassed upon by persons who have no right to be there. Right, and they've been blindsided. But what's happened, I can tell you, in the last few months, Sandra Dennis and Benjamin Howe have placed my property on social media for rent, which would be a crime, because they know full well this is not their property. So instead of informing me that my property has been vacated by the last trespassers, they have refused, and yet, so they're still collecting passive income. They're still making passive income using my stolen property. Now that should bother you, because it sure the fuck bothers me. So you're going to come with me, right? You're going to come with me, and we are going to go, and we are going to drop off the letter. Aren't we? We're going to drop off the letter. We're going to take the other one to the basement. And then these trespassers have been notified once again that they are trespassing. And you can't continue to trespass on my house, because I've really had enough. I mean, wouldn't you? And here's a shot of all the neighbors. We got some busybody neighbors here, right? As you know, I'm always dealing with... Oh, do we have a car in the driveway tonight? Let's see if we got a car in the driveway. Oh, we do have a car in the driveway. Oh, it looks like the same trespasser that was here before. So now we have a license plate of a trespasser. So here, we'll put this here. We'll tape that there. And then you'll come with me to put this in the mailbox. Well, look, here's the stairs to my house. Are you kidding me? Is this happening again? Fuck. It's a fucking 5-minute live feed. Are you joking? Oh, fuck. Now we're gonna post this. Why? Because that's all we're doing here. We're just making sure that we've got proof that these notifications have been dropped off. Because I'm building a case, criminal and civil. And that's exactly why this is happening, and it's gonna... And then the audio cuts out. You gotta be joking. Well, I'll put the video in the description box. Because this is my Instagram. It's the 2nd of November, right? 2022. And I have to collect proof. This is my Instagram. So, Kirsten Martin for Martin Homes, it looks like has blocked me, right? Because all the criminals have involved themselves in making money by committing acts of fraud. You know, the cockroaches scatter, don't they? But this is happening twice a week in Canada. A mortgage-free house is being stolen. And I'm the liar. I'm the problem. I'm the problem. Why? Because I know what I'm doing and because I know what I'm talking about, and liars hate that. Because you know what's happening, right? Like, this is persecution. This is beyond persecution. This is conspiracy to commit genocide. And I will just briefly show you, because I'm so tired, what was happening yesterday. Because it's bad, right? Like, it's so bad. So I get a letter. I get a notification earlier this morning that a liar is now slandering me with a fraudulent, false defamation complaint. Well, if you went in and listened to that, there was no defamation. I have not committed an act of defamation. That thing exposed itself. Oh, yes, it did. If you believe that your content is restricted in error, you can let us know. Or I don't have any beliefs. No, I'm not a woman who has beliefs. I'm a woman who has knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And those characteristics, the content of my character, have nothing to do with belief. Local laws, what do you talk? Help Center article on legal complaints? Well, what the fuck does legal have to do with the truth? It has nothing to do with the truth. So this has been a satanic ritual that was taking place, and that's why I couldn't move. And I wasn't sure why I couldn't move. But when I'm being attacked by covens of corruption, chaos, and confusion, I have a physical reaction, right? Because I'm an empath, I'm a sensitive. And you have to realize this satanic ritual is happening during, I believe it's called Samhain, right? Halloween. Do you have any idea what that is? Like, trust me, it's not good. It's not good. That's when they're sacrificing. October 31st or November 1st, that's when they're sacrificing. That's when they're making sacrifices to their father, the devil. And I happen to be involved in one of their satanic rituals. well, you better believe that block is coming off of there. Not that it would matter anyway, because that phone call is up on BitChute. So you go right ahead and you file a fraudulent, slanderous claim. Because listen to me, slander is murder. So I was being murdered by a false claim of defamation. And so what I am going to require, because I am going to file a claim for civil damages, I need to know who contacted YouTube, and I have every right to know who contacted YouTube. And if you will not provide me with who contacted you to file a lie, a fraudulent defamation claim, then you're going to take that block off of that upload. Because I have the right not only to face the liar and the lies it's telling, but I have an obligation, duty, and responsibility to make sure I'm compensated financially for this lie. I suggest you take that block off of there. Oh, but don't worry, we're going to talk about this again because, excuse me, sincerely, the YouTube team? Oh no, I don't think so. You know, I don't deal in fiction. I don't deal in falsehood. No thanks. I'm one of the righteous. I'm a righteous woman. So, a person obviously pretending to be YouTube has drawn up this email and has sent it to me, and I need you to identify yourself. You have to identify yourself, because now you've decided now to be part of the problem instead of part of the solution. During that call, there was no defamation. Believe me, I was the one on the call, and I was the one who spoke after the call, and there was no defamation. None. Not at all. Yeah, listen, the lies have to stop, okay? Telling a lie is the same is beating the one you're lying about with baseball bats. If you do not pick up your scriptures, if you do not pick up your DSM, you would not be able to understand why you don't tell lies and why you never believe a liar. That's why I couldn't move last night. Because now we've got a couple of different groups of evildoers, now again, trying to oppress me with their lies and with your slander. So now I'm the one being defamed. Right? You see, that's the mind of a witch, right? To a witch, everything is backwards. To a child of the devil, everything is backwards. To a child of the devil, evil is good and good is evil. To a child of the devil, the lie is the truth and the truth is the lie. So let's see what we've done here on Twitter. You know, because like I'm not going to stop, right? Like they don't stop with me, so I'm certainly not going to stop with them. I mean, I'm sorry. We don't play that game. We don't play that game. Right? No, I'm afraid not. So this is my Twitter, where I tell the truth, right? That's what happens when you're going to come at me like that. So, right, like I'll have to retweet it, but the letter that I just read you, right, I sent it out. Because what's happening is I'm a peace officer and I'm in the lawful execution of my duties to get the trespassers off my house, because we've all heard how I'm being treated by the brood of vipers, the racists who hate me, who are trying to pretend to be Saanich PD. We've all heard. You didn't hear the satanic ritual assault December 10th last year, when 2 pigs were at the door, pounding on the door. I was being violently assaulted. I was being threatened. I was being harassed. And I was informed that these witches are not going to lift a finger, not one finger, to hold any of the criminals to account. I will not be served. I will not be protected at all, in any way, shape, fashion, or form, by these dishonorable sewer rats of the demonic district of Satanic Satanich. These are public servants I'm talking about. Public servants, paid to serve victims of crime, paid to protect my rights, and yet they refuse. The entire coven is a coven of corruption, chaos, and confusion. You know, that's what happens when you're one of the dead. That's what happens when you're born a child of the devil. You have absolutely no understanding at all. Go read Daniel 12:10. That's you. You attacking me. You have no idea how exhausted I would be, right? If you're not standing in my shoes for any amount of time, how are you going to understand how I feel and what I'm going through? Because as we can all see, it's Sandra Dennis and Benjamin Howe who have a fraudulent mortgage held by Scotiabank, who knows that mortgage is fraudulent. They've known since the summertime that's fraudulent. And listen to me, this is not fucking rocket science, okay? This is not fucking rocket science. We've all read the last will and testament. We've all read the trust fund. We've all read it. I've read it to you 1,000 different fucking times. So the land title goes back into exactly the way it was when my spouse passed away. So when Daniel Carroll and Graham Mack committed application and title fraud, and all of a sudden that house fraudulently became the property of CIBC, which it could never become because that violates all the legal rules. However that land title was, before they committed that crime, that's exactly how that land title will return. And that's not fucking rocket science, and I don't need to go to the fucking horse court of fucking corruption and speak to some fucking sewer rat. Because the sewer rats did this to me. I tell you what, there was something that did happen yesterday, which I am going to get into. But something has been, like, seriously bothering me. No different than if you had a broken limb, and that broken limb was not set. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm an INFJ personality type. Do you understand what that means? That means that I have to get to the why. I have to get to the why something has happened, why something has taken place. I need to know. This writ of possession, who and what is belly? Well, yesterday the King of Kings, who knows all things, brought me to the knowledge of the truth. Yesterday he brought me to the knowledge of the truth, of why this writ of possession has that written on it. Yeah, no, I'm afraid so. Yeah. The fraudulent satanic order is to commit an act of genocide, to defile and to murder me. That's exactly what this writ of possession is. And this desk order for writ of possession, it's not signed. I need to be able to identify the person acting as the registrar who signed this, because if you can't identify the criminal committing a criminal act, then this writ of possession, it never did have force and effect, because the entire matter from the beginning was fraudulent. So everything they did was just empty noise. And yet close to 3 years later, I'm still not back in my house. And there's not one witch, acting as pretending to be the BC NDP, pretending to be BC Attorney Generals, pretending to be Vic PD, pretending to be Saanich PD, that are going to lift a fucking finger to undo any of this. Because they're the ones who are behind it all. They're the ones behind all of this hatred. Right? And that was happening to me yesterday, right? Where the king was, like, explaining to me. He showed me. He literally, all of a sudden, it was like, because that's been bugging me. Like, what? Like, who the fuck is Belly? Well, Belly is, well, right? Belial. It's Belair. You understand? Belial, like, are you seeing? Can you see this? Can you see this? Because this is the age of information, and there's no such thing as fucking coincidence. No such thing. And that's exactly why that order to commit genocide has that written on it. That's exactly why. right? Because I'm dealing with the spawn of arrogance. I'm dealing with the spawn of pride. I'm without master, right? Corrupt gains. Well, you don't think fucking stealing my fucking house, which you cannot fucking steal, and then embezzling every dollar isn't fucking corrupt gain? So fucking Asians... So Asians can launder money, and so Asians can turn my single-family dwelling into commercial property? Listen to me. That's the epitome of racism. That's the epitome of fucking racism and the fucking epitome of fucking evil. Right? Rebellion, deception. Yeah, everything out of the mouths of the witches. Daniel Carroll, Graham Mack, Chelsea Mack, Hal Hicks, you fucking Susan Bossio, fucking we've got literally a half dozen witches pretending to be the BC Supreme Court, all fucking with their fucking vile, disgusting, evil-doing hands all over this fucking act of genocide. Consorts, possibly witches? No. It's not fucking possibly. The fucking consorts are fucking witches. They are witches. They're all fucking witches. Witches. When you reject and deny the truth, you automatically identify yourself as a witch. I've had more than 100 witches aid and abet the theft of my home. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's just the truth, okay? There's no way we're going to get around this. And so who is counseling Sandra Dennis and Benjamin Howe? Who is counseling you to continue to commit genocide against me? Well, who is it? Because somebody is. Who are you listening to, Sandra Dennis and Benjamin Howe? Because there's new trespassers upstairs, right? So Beliar is the devil or Satan. So the devil itself, or Satan, signed that order. Signed that order to commit genocide, right? Belial, the personification of wickedness and evil. Listen, I couldn't make this up if I tried, but I am a woman of truth, and I'm here to explain the truth. That's what I do. I take all the puzzle pieces and I put together for you the tapestry of what's happening to me. I mean, you have to be able to see that, right? Because there's just no way that you couldn't see that. It's the glory of the Most High that hides the word, and it's the glory of his peculiar people that seek for the word, right? So I'm the one, INFJ personality type. I got to know the why. I have to know the why of everything. I have to know the why of everything and why it happens. It's the glory of the king to conceal the matter, but it's the glory of his peculiar people to honor that business, right? It's my business to peel back the mask and to show you the evil that's behind that mask. The Most High is praised for being mysterious. But his people, they're praised for explaining mysteries. Now, how the fuck or is anybody who's listening to me, how you would have not ever been able to figure out why that desk order is written like that? Because, I mean, that is just belly? No, man, no, I don't fucking think so. No. And by the way, I'm not a fucking respondent. I'm not a resident. I'm not a tenant. I'm not a fucking taxpayer. I'm not a fucking citizen. Don't you ever fucking lower my status from a living woman to a fucking thing. Okay, it's things who fucking came at me and fucking have destroyed my life completely. Walking Dead things, right? CIBC doesn't even fucking exist, for crying out loud. No, because it's too much, but I mean, I'm going to go into it because that's what I do, right? That's what I do, because there's nothing covered that's not going to be revealed. Neither hid that shall not be known. So listen to me. These are commandments. This is not an option. It's a commandment. Exodus 22:18, Leviticus 20:27, Deuteronomy 18:10. Those aren't suggestions. Those are absolute, you're not getting around them, commandments. And I'm here to make sure that all the evil doers and all the wicked ones who have come after me and my son, now you come after me and my spouse, like, you're finished. And I mean that, you're finished. you're finished. You're literally finished. If you're going to identify yourself as a witch, and that's what you've done, it's over, right? Like, it's over. Because in order for you to get out of that sentence that's written against you, you're going to have to admit to being a child of the devil. You're going to have to admit to every single ugly, evil thing that you've done and who you've done it to. And then whoever you've done that to is going to do that to you. That's justice. That's law, that's justice, and only that brings healing. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, fracture for fracture, stroke for stroke. That's where I come from. We do not have this fucking bullshit going on ever. Because we fear. We have fear that we do not go around causing harm to others, right? 2 commandments, right? When my brother was here. Because my brother's here and the time is getting short. Now it's 2,000 years later. How short do you think the time is now? Because if you have any kind of understanding at all, you can see this fucking place absolutely fucking falling apart. Because the wicked are in rulership. The wicked have blind eyes and deaf ears. They don't have a fucking clue what they're doing. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about me. They don't care, right? I still have a battle going on with the Ministry of Social Destruction and Poverty Development. And I'm going to have to go into that, and I'm exhausted, right? I can barely function.